Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to Bass Now Radio. Once again, the coronavirus is raining on our parade and we're all split up. But I got Lewis with me from afar. You want to say hi?
I'm here. Hi.
I'm
Lewis
here.
is here.
I'm here. Hi.
Welcome.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Obviously, I'd rather be in studio with you, but I have had a buddy who's contracted the old virus, so probably better that with you working, I stay here, you go there. We'll get back together next week, hopefully.
Yeah, I literally just dodged it. I don't know. I haven't even told you the full story, but I came in contact with someone that had it Saturday and somehow didn't get it.
Yeah, well, hey, knock on wood, whatever works.
But I quarantined until yesterday afternoon, and then I got my negative test, and I'm like, yay! And they're like, you're good.
Yeah. I found out today about this, so I have not gotten tested. I do not know, so we're staying safe. But I'm here, you're there, and we're gonna bring you some Natty Championship recap, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of happenings going on. Bass fishing was crazy last week.
Yeah, it was. And it seems like the entire world, for once, knows what happened in the college national championship.
I know. Well, that's because the feat was so impressive.
Yeah. We're going to get into all that. I know those guys who won, congratulations, Cole Sands and Connor tomorrow. I believe this was their last college tournament. Obviously, it's not their last college tournament with them going to the bracket, but technically their last college tournament, and they pulled it off. They're kind of all over fishing right now on every show and everything, which is great. I mean, I love any kind of publicity for college fishing.
Yeah, we'll take whatever we can get.
For sure.
But yeah, they knocked it out of the park down there in Florida.
Yes.
The one thing that we need to mention is that old Lewis over here was spot on with his prediction on the winner. So,
and for all of those who may have thought that I was looking at Bass Track last week, I was not. I had no idea when we did our podcast that they had already had a big bag in the boat. I just saw how their posts leading up looked, and they looked like they were catching them. And I mean, I didn't even know that Connor tomorrow is from the Harris chain. It's his local lake.
Yeah.
So that's definitely interesting, and that's good for them, man. That's awesome that they caught him so well. It's incredible.
Yeah, congratulations to them. It was absolute slugfest on their end.
Yeah.
Rest of the field did not catch him nearly as good, but all the weights were higher than both you and I predicted, which I thought was amazing. Like, I mean, I was the higher weight, and I still missed it by like a lot, like 8 pounds.
Well, you missed it. No, you didn't miss it by 8 pounds. You missed it by about 26.
No, I mean like 8 pounds a day. So yeah, 26. I meant like 8 pounds a day.
Weren't you guessing high 50s?
Oh, no, I'm talking about daily average.
Yeah, 19 a day.
I was saying 19 a day, yeah, which would be...
You missed second place by about 2 pounds.
Yeah, okay. So I was closer towards the rest of the field, but not for the winner.
You were much closer. No, not at all. Yeah, it's really kind of, there's nothing you can say. It's the highest 3-day total in not just college. It's the highest 3-day total in BASS history. In the history of BASS tournaments that go 3 days, this is the highest number, 84-12.
Yeah, it is extremely impressive that they were able to keep the consistency despite the changing weather and everything going on. So that was awesome. Major props to them. As you said, I mean, they literally set a record. They broke the college record and the bass record for 3 days. It's just, I don't know. I don't
Now,
even. They were weighing in fish, and I'm like, man, they just keep racking it up here.
no words for it. It's crazy. It really is insane. It's they won by 26 pounds. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
It's absolutely unbelievable.
they could have had
It's
everyone else in the field fish a fourth day, and they still might not have caught them. Like if they like just set it out.
right, right. They won. So uh, let me see real quick. 26. They had 29 pounds on day 3.
Uh-huh.
So had they had one 4-pounder on day 3, they could have went back to camp and called it a day. I mean, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable. They beat fourth place. Second place, shout out to Cole Thompson and Benson Dowler. I'm not sure what university they went to. I think they fished unaffiliated, but they came in second place at 58.14. Ty Black and Avery Thompson from Georgia Southern. They came in third with 57.10. And then fourth, Trevor McKinney. That's a name that if you've been following college fishing, you know Trevor McKinney from McKendree University. Him and Blake Jackson came in fourth
Yes.
with 53. But they beat fourth place by 31 pounds. I mean,
It's just
they didn't have to stay
it was unreal.
to make the bracket. They did not have to stay 3. That's unbelievable.
So yeah, it was just all around just incredible effort. They were fishing a way that I personally did not think was going to play a factor. They were apparently fishing deeper grass lines, Carolina rigs, dragging stuff along the hydrilla lines, and I thought it was going to be one shallow. I thought people were going to be catching fish in the pads up in like a foot of water.
Right. Yeah, they won out in Lake Beauclair or Beauclair. I'm not really sure how to say it, but it's one of the further. It's actually the last lake before you lock into Apopka, which is the furthest lake on the chain. And it's a little lake, and I think it's a lake that gets overlooked. If you talk about the Harris chain, I know that Connor said in his recap that it's a spot. It must be some kind of known spot. He said a lot of guys have caught him there over the years, and a lot of guys will continue to catch him there. So it must be some kind of community hole. But at the same time, I mean, to sit there for 4 days or 3 days and find a grouping of fish like that is just unbelievable. And I agree with you. I didn't think it would be one out deep. I mean, I thought it definitely those grass beds in Lake Griffin. I think they always play in any Harris Chain tournament, and they did. I think Cole Thompson and Benson Dowler, they caught their fish out of those grass lines in Griffin. But I thought it would be one on the bank or maybe on those that grass flat or a grass flat. I didn't think it'd be one on deep grass lines like they said, but
I would assume that is due in part to the higher than normal temperatures we've been having this fall, and just it's almost like a continuation of the summer bite.
I totally agree. I think as it gets colder, those fish move into the grass instead of on the deep lines, and that's why, like you said, I mean, I agree. I think that warmer weather kept them out off the bank. I know there was another team in the top 4. I'm not sure if it was. I think it was Ty Black and Avery Thompson from Georgia Southern. They call him cranking a 6XD. I mean, that's just stuff I did not think would play in this tournament. But
yeah, you go to a fall tournament in Florida and you're fishing deep. That's impressive.
Yeah, for certain. Didn't think it would play out this way, but it did, and a cool tournament. Really cool tournament. I really wish we had live for it just to see how those guys were catching them. They had some pretty solid blog and other stuff coverage, but I'm really hoping that Bass can pick it up and get some live coverage for us out on Lay Lake for the bracket.
Yeah, well, certainly we're going to be going at the Lay Lake next week, kind of like previewing it, but we're all excited for the bracket. I would be shocked if it wasn't one of them two winning it. I will say that, but I'm definitely excited to see what other people can bring because they're riding the momentum. That means a lot.
Yeah, and again, like you said, they're riding momentum, and it's their last college tournament. They're going to try and make the most of it. Cole Sands and Connor tomorrow are two guys that they're not just college guys that have been catching them. They've been catching them out in local stuff and in BFLs. These guys know how to catch fish. Cole Sands is a Tennessee guy. Connor, obviously a Florida guy. I didn't know that before this tournament. But these are guys that know how to catch fish. They go to Bryan College, known school for catching them. I wouldn't be surprised to see those guys win. I don't know as much about the second and third place teams. But again, Trevor McKinney's a name you see a lot in college circles, and I would not be surprised if he was able to pull out that bracket win.
Yeah, he might try and bring something to the table, which would be good. It'll be entertaining. I would like to see as entertaining of a college bracket as this presidential election has been, where it's super close. I think that's awesome. I mean, yeah, what they did was amazing, but having that really close, tight race definitely makes it a little bit more interesting. And I certainly hope it's like that.
Yeah. And I think Trevor McKinney fished last year's bracket.
I think he did too.
He fished both. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember talking about McKendry and Trevor McKinney fishing that. So, I mean, that's two brackets in a row. Talk about something. I mean, him and Sand, Trevor McKinney, I don't think he fished with Blake Jackson last year, but Cole Sands and Connor and Trevor have fished the last two brackets. That's impressive.
Yeah.
For you guys that fish college, for guys that are going into college, maybe from high school, or maybe just the guys that listen to this podcast and don't know much about college, it's tough to get to the Natty. It's tough to make that top four, and to do it 2 years in a row, really impressive.
But that tournament was definitely a fun one. I'm hoping Bass does this thing of keeping their championships in good places like they did with Harris and keeping it out of Tennessee in August. I like that idea.
Hopefully it's up north, man. I mean, I'm praying it's up north next year. Want to give a quick shout out to my buddies Robert and Chase from Auburn. They came in 35th place in this tournament, and we really wanted to have them on this podcast to talk about just kind of what was going down at Harris Team. But obviously, with me being here, you there, we don't want to have double call-ins. So shout out to them guys. We're going to try and get them onto another podcast coming up soon. But yeah, I mean, amazing tournament overall, really cool. And you saw, I mean, if you look at the top, say, 50 guys, you're going to see a lot of names you recognize. A lot of guys, you're around college fishing, you pay attention to college fishing. This tournament brought out talent.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I'm looking down the line right now. A lot of the names in that top 50 are a lot of names you're going to know if you follow college fishing. So I mean, I don't know what that's all about. Harris Chain in the fall, I guess you got to be pretty good to figure them out down there.
You know, any other comments for how it went? Anything that could be changed in the future, other than the TV coverage? Yeah. I know that the TV coverage was lacking again.
Yeah, I mean, I'll harp on that, man. This is a big tournament. College fishing isn't so much of a joke. It's not in its youth like it once was. One of these top four guys is going to fish in the Bassmaster Classic. I mean, I just really feel like this is something we should see. I get that we don't see, that we don't see every tournament, obviously. Bass is busy, a lot of stuff going on, but they're getting live coverage out to all these opens on day 3. I feel like on day 3 of the national championship with the bracket on the line, they should be able to get a guy out to us. I'm going to keep harping on that, and I hope they can get some good coverage for the bracket, because that's going to be a tournament where one of those 8 guys, is going to the Classic. Because the Classic berth on the line, that's got to be shown to the masses.
Yeah, I mean it's like watching college football. You know, it's like going to be the future of the sport, essentially.
Yeah. Yep. There's a lot of these names in here that you're going to know within the next 10 years. If you follow Elite Series, if you follow Bass Pro Tour, if if you follow Toyota Series and stuff like that now, you're gonna see a lot of names that fit in the college ranks from the Elite Series.
Yeah.
A lot of names in college ranks. So hopefully they can get some good coverage out to us. I really, really am pushing for that.
So let's talk about the other event of the weekend. That was the Bass Open on Lake Cherokee.
Yeah.
Interesting showdown. Once again, Mr. Robertson, he seems to win one of these opens every single year, apparently.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, I think he missed it last year. He missed making a classic, but the year before he made it, and he's going back. I mean, I'm psyched. I love that dude.
Yeah, if none of you have seen any of the Bassmaster Classic coverage from the last couple of years, Matt Robertson is quite the dude to watch on stage. He's got a big personality. He's fun to watch. Kind of reminds me of like California version of Jared Swindle.
Yeah, something like that. I think he's from Kentucky, and he's awesome, man. He's exciting. He's funny. He's the kind of guy that can give bass fishing, some more recognition. So I'd really like to see him do well in a classic, and hopefully one of these days make it to the professional ranks, because he is an awesome guy. So it seems, and he catches them.
No, I watched a little bit of the coverage, and then of course read the articles after. And I gotta say, his way of winning on Saturday fascinated me. I didn't know if you had read too much into it, but he was throwing like a Ned rig like the entire week, and on the last day switched to a top water that was modified. And I thought that the way it was modified was really interesting. It was a like one of them walking baits, like a Strike King, Sexy Dog, and it was like he put lead dots on the back of it, or someone that he knew had put lead dots on the back of it and gave it to him. So it set lower in the water and the fish were missing it less. I thought it was pretty interesting.
That is really interesting. Yeah, especially for the fall when the bites suffer.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I was like, man, that's what I could have used on High Rock the other week ago.
I didn't know that. I knew that he made a big switch on day 3. I didn't watch much of it. I was fishing myself. But that's awesome.
Yeah, he was throwing a 10-pound to 6-pound fluoro Ned rig in deep water, and then all of a sudden switched to throwing a walking bait on the last half day of the tournament. And that's what pushed him over the edge.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. I mean, again, I'm so excited to see him fishing the Classics again. This is not the first time we've seen him do well in an Open. And I think you're going to know, if you don't know Matt Robinson's name now, which I'd be surprised if you didn't, you're going to know it soon. He's coming.
He's gonna make his way to the elites eventually, and add to that personality pool that we have with Seth Fighter and Gerald Swindle. So, and assuming Scott makes it eventually here,
with 2 Opens left, he's in the last spot to make it into the Elite Series. They're taking the top 4 of the overall Opens AOY. He is in 4th.
Yeah.
So you hopefully he does well in these next 2 tournaments, and I'd love to see him on the Elite Series next year. I mean, I think that would be he's just such a great character for that big stage, I feel like.
Yeah. So, but that was the Open. It was a tough tournament. We had a tropical storm roll through, and then bluebird, clear skies the days following. So it's very tough fishing.
Yeah, our buddy Trevor fished this Open. Shout out to Trev. He had a pretty solid finish, the top 70 finish, and he told me that day 1 was just abysmal. Really bad wind, really harsh conditions, and really, really tough to get bit. I mean, a lot of the water that these guys were fishing was blown out, which is why I think that deep bite really seemed to play. That deep smallmouth bite seemed to play early.
Yeah.
Because I know Trevor was getting a lot of bites shallow, and I think with all that wind, it's just hard to get those topwater fish and those shallow fish to eat. Just hard to, super rough water. It's just a pain overall around. So, yeah, tough tournament. Really tough tournament. You saw a lot of guys get checked with less than 5 a day. You saw a couple guys get top 12 finishes with less than 5 a day.
Yeah.
So really, really tough go at it. Really impressive finish, honestly, from Matt Robertson.
Well, that's our tournament recaps for the week.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was a very entertaining week in bass fishing. You gave it to Florida and Tennessee, quite the opposite tournaments in terms of results, but they were both fun to watch, and that's important.
Yeah, we saw an awesome, like you said, incredible tournament in Florida, huge win, huge weight. And then you saw a really, really tough tournament in which I think one of the bigger personalities of the sport took the win, which is just so cool to see. And like I said, I really hope we see more of him. I hope he sneaks into the professional ranks here soon, because that will be a fun dude to follow on the Elite Series.
Yeah, for sure.
So what do we got? I think we got Lay Lake and we got Fork coming up this week.
Fork's
right?
coming up. Yeah, let's do a little talking about Fork. We got the AOY tournament. Also Texas Fest.
Yeah.
Are they just calling it like the AOY Texas Fest?
Well, actually, here's the thing. They did away with the AOY this year. I didn't know that until recently. They totally did away with it. Not just because of COVID. There was never an AOY tournament like usual. I didn't know that.
Neither did I. I'm not gonna lie. I just always figured last tournament of the year that'd be your tournament.
So real quick, the bracket is November the 11th through the 19th. So we'll talk about the bracket in another week or two.
Yes.
But yeah, so they did away with the top 50 AOY tournament in an effort, I guess, to create more drama, kind of. And I think we're gonna have that. Like you said, it is the Texas Fest, so we're having Texas Fest as our AOY tournament. Because of COVID, they postponed this tournament, and I think it's going to make things a lot more interesting. You know, a guy who's in the running for AOY used to only be able to fall 50 points. Now he can fall the full 86 or however many, 88. So it's going to be interesting, to say the least.
It's not a tournament that you want to zero in if you're in the top 5.
No. And the other thing about the Texas Fest that's unique is that the Texas Fest grants a classic berth. So whoever wins this tournament will get a classic berth, and we usually don't see that. We usually see the AOY championship come and go, and the top, 40 or so guys make it in the classic, and that's it in points. But for this tournament, if a guy's in dead last place in AOY points, he can win it and make it to the classic. Yeah. So that's really interesting. I'd like to hear your opinion on this. I don't think this is a bad idea just going forward. Make the Texas Fest the last tournament of the year, maybe in the early fall. I don't know. It could be interesting.
I was going to say, I'd like to see what the weights are first.
Yeah, true.
I don't know much about fall Texas fishing.
Yeah.
So I don't know how difficult this is going to be. I couldn't even begin to tell you what the weights are going to be.
Me neither.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I kind of agree. I think it's kind of a neat idea to do it as the last tournament. It's something a little different.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of lakes to pick from Texas, which is just awesome. Like, you won't be going to the same lake twice, which is cool. At least for a couple of years in a row, or you have the option to do that at least. I don't know if it would happen, but.
Right.
But for those of you who don't know, top 5 right now for the AOY is David Mullins, Austin Felix, Clark Wendlet, Jake Whitaker, and Kyle Welcher.
Okay.
So that's the top 5. We'll have to see how it shakes out. Obviously, with there being 82 now, that could change dramatically.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes. I really think this almost anyone's game here in the top. What do you think? Top 7? Probably have a good shot at it. Maybe even top 10.
What's the points breakdown there?
So David Mullins is in with 623 points. Matt Airy is in 10th with 571.
I'm looking out. Yeah, I would say anybody I would say the top 5 guys.
You're saying top 5?
Yeah, just because out of those 5 guys have been catching them all year, guys that catch them, period. One of those 5 is gonna do okay. And for Drew Cook or Corey Johnston to sneak into that first place spot, they would need all 5 of those guys to drop 40 points.
Yeah, to do something bad.
Yeah, I mean, well, Welcher would only have to drop, they'd all have to drop. Mullins would have to drop 40. Felix would have to drop about 35. Wendlandt would have to drop, 25-ish. So, I mean, it can happen, but those guys have to be like top 5, and the rest of them would have to really fall.
Which, considering we don't really know how Texas is going to be this time of the year and with the unusual temperatures we've had, and I guess you could say anything's possible.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really knows what to expect unless they're from Texas. I feel like Chris Zaldain's going to have somewhat of an advantage in this tournament, but we'll see.
Yeah, you got the Zaldains, the Keith Combses, guys like that can definitely show out. I mean, like you said, you don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anybody saw Clark Wendlandt showing up to Chickamauga and weighing in 1 fish for 2 days and coming in 81st after leading AOY by a pretty good bit, I believe, for a while there.
Yeah, he was in the lead for a few events.
Yeah, and I think it was a solid margin, and he just really fell hard at this past tournament at Chickamauga. So anything, like you said, can happen. Definitely interested to see.
All right, who do you think is going to win it?
Who's going to win it?
Give me your pick.
I think definitely, like you said, look for the Texas guys. Look for the Lee Livesey, the Chris Zaldain, the Keith Combs, guys like that. I think and kind of hope, even though I really like a lot of these stars that we've got, I hope it's another one of these guys that isn't quite as recognized. I mean, you saw our guy Frank Talley win. You saw Mike Huff almost come from behind at Chick. I hope it's another one of those guys. One of those guys that you're not really seeing to win. You're not looking for. So with that being said,
just to make it exciting, I'm gonna pick Drew Cook because him winning would make it exciting.
It very much would. Very much. But I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe even a guy I could see Austin Felix for some weird reason. A guy like him, I think a lot of different techniques are going to play. So I don't think I have to look at that really. Just kind of be a guy who lands on it. Maybe somebody who's good with their graphs, like a Brennan Card or I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Brandon Lester.
And I don't even think I'm going to try and take a stab at the weights just out of pure shame for how far off I was in Florida.
I would say somewhere around 17 or 18 a day does it.
All right, so you're gonna follow in the footsteps of Florida and say just about the same weight. Naturally, I'm gonna do the same then. Just for the comedy part of it, I'm gonna say 19 a day.
There you go. Yeah, I'm going to say that because I feel like, unlike the Chickamauga and the Guntersville and those tournaments, I think that this tournament's a little further along. I think Texas gets a little cooler, a little quicker.
It's been cold there.
Yeah.
It snowed in northern Texas like a week ago.
I think it turns on, and to some extent, not on fire. But I think some guys are going to land on them and catch some pretty good bags out there.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on it. Everyone tune in, watch that tournament. Certainly going to be a good one.
Oh yeah.
And with that note, we appreciate you guys tuning in, and
oh yeah.
hopefully we'll be back live in studio for the next one. We'll be talking about the Lay Lake bracket.
Yeah.
It's going to be an exciting one, as we were saying, and anyone can win it. And we're certainly looking forward to see who's going to be representing the college guys at the Classic next year and on the Open circuit.
Yeah. So we'll definitely get back to you on this Ford tournament, and yeah, I agree. I'm excited to talk about Lay.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Tight lines. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.